You know all those smart devices we have everywhere? Your phone, your watch, your speakers. Ever stop and think about where the smarts actually come from? I mean, how do they think? Well, it turns out our data goes on a pretty surprising journey. So let's follow the data and see where it leads.
Okay, you know this moment. You ask your smart speaker a simple question like, what's the weather? And then there's that little bit of silence, that awkward pause. It seems like nothing, but that delay, it's a clue. It tells us there's a huge round-trip journey happening in the background, a journey that's about to get a whole lot shorter.
For what? The last decade, the answer to everything in tech has been the cloud. We think of it as this magical, instant thing. But the reality, when your device needs to do some heavy thinking, your data often has to take a massive and kind of long detour.
Right, so here's what's really going on in that pause. First, you speak to your device. Your voice gets turned into data. That data then has to travel, sometimes thousands of miles away, over the internet to some giant server farm. Only then, after it's been processed, does the answer have to travel all the way back to you.
And that whole round-trip time, that's the pause. In the tech world, we call this latency. Now, for asking about the weather, it's a tiny annoyance, right? But what about for something like a self-driving car? All of a sudden, that same delay becomes a really, really big deal.
So, how do you solve a problem with a long commute? Simple. You bring the office closer to home. Or, better yet, you work from home. And that's pretty much the brilliant idea behind this huge new trend in computing. We're going to shorten that commute for our data.
And that brings us to edge computing. The edge is just what it sounds like, the edge of the network. It's your phone, it's your car, it's a camera, and a smart city. The big idea here is to process information right where it's being created, completely skipping that long trip to the distant data center.
Here's an easy way to think about it. The cloud is like mailing a letter to a corporate head office to ask a question and then waiting for them to mail a reply back. I mean, it works, but it takes time. Edge computing? That's like having a personal assistant standing right next to you, giving you the answer instantly, no waiting. So this is where things get really cool. What happens when you take this idea, this local, on-the-spot processing, and you combine it with artificial intelligence? Well, you get an AI that's no longer chained to some far-off server. The AI basically breaks free.
And this is the star of our show today, Edge AI. It's all about running those complex, smart AI programs, the brains of the whole operation, directly on your device. The device itself becomes the mini supercomputer. It doesn't need to call home for help anymore.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just wow. With cloud AI, you're waiting seconds. With edge AI, we're talking milliseconds. It's practically instant. For privacy, the cloud means you're sending your data away. With the edge, your data never leaves your device, which is huge. But maybe the biggest game changer, edge AI works even when you're completely offline.
Okay, so this isn't just some technical jargon for engineers to get excited about. This shift has massive, real-world payoffs for all of us and the technology we use every single day. I mean, look at this. You get responses that are truly real-time, things that feel instantaneous. You get much, much better privacy because your personal data literally stays with you. Your apps become more reliable because they don't depend on a shaky Wi-Fi signal. Oh, and it even ends up being cheaper because you're not constantly sending massive amounts of data back and forth to the cloud. It's a win-win-win. Just think about a smart car. If its sensors detect a pedestrian suddenly stepping into the road, it absolutely cannot afford to send that video to the cloud and wait for instructions on what to do. No way. It has to make that decision in a fraction of a second. That life or death call is being made by Edge AI, right there inside the car's own computer. Or what about this? It's almost like magic. You point your phone's camera at a sign in a foreign language, and the translation just appears on your screen, instantly. And get this, it works even if your phone is in airplane mode. That's Edge AI, analyzing the image and giving you the translation in real time. No internet needed. And for anyone into gaming or AR, you know this one. For an augmented reality experience to feel real, it has to be perfectly, and I mean perfectly, in sync with your movements. Any lag, any stutter at all, and the illusion is shattered. Edge AI is what makes these super immersive, lag-free experiences possible.
So when you start to add all these examples up, you realize something. This is more than just a cool new feature. It's pointing to a really fundamental change in how our entire digital world is being built. It's a whole new philosophy. You see, for the last decade, the whole model has been centralization. Let's send all our data and processing to a few giant brains in the cloud. Well, Edge AI is completely flipping that script. We're now moving towards a decentralized model, where intelligence is spread out everywhere across billions and billions of individual devices. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to chew on. As the phone in your pocket, the watch on your wrist, and the car in your driveway get smarter and smarter, processing their own data instantly and privately, are we heading towards a future where our most personal information never even needs to leave our hands at all? The future of AI might be a lot closer than we think. In fact, it's probably already in your pocket.